Hello everyone, welcome back to GNN. Today we have a really big story to cover. Super important stuff. Lately the phrase OK Boomer has surfaced and gained a lot of traction, which raises the question of, what is this phrase doing to society? Some say it's nothing to worry about, and some individuals report that this phrase has destroyed their livelihood and eaten their children. Boomers all around the world are reporting being teased to an immense degree. No matter where you stand, it appears this phrase may go extinct relatively soon, as there will be no more boomers to tease. The rate of intentional acts of anti-living have skyrocketed 500% in the past week within the boomer population. Though boomers often accuse the younger generation, Zoomers, of being sensitive snowflakes, it appears the boomers are having a blizzard, as one two-word phrase was able to destroy their walls of iron strength and bring their lives down into a saddening abyss. In other news, Zoomers, do you find yourself longing for clothing that will allow you to truly express your deep sorrows within? Well, now that clothing is here. Here's a sweater that states just how cringy you know you are. Here's another shirt that represents the insufferable uwu monster that you trap and lock away deep inside yourself. And then here is the lovely cultist shirt, perfect for parties and cult circles. Buy the merch or be violently launched into space. What's up, snowflakes? How did you like that 100% legitimate official news report that I featured at the beginning there? It's pretty good, right? Pretty official stuff. Well, the phrase OK Boomer has been absolutely destroying boomers, which is weird because it's two words. It is OK and boomer, and boomers have frequently accused younger generations of being really sensitive. When I say it's a two-word phrase, this phrase is not F you or something like that. It's literally just something that means acknowledgement and then the name of a generation. So how can a word that means acknowledgement paired with the name of a generation cause such outrage? I don't know, but I find it kind of funny. So today I thought we could look at some interesting news articles about this phrase because I think it's just gone a little bit too far. It has offended far too many for what it is. Here's an article called William Shatner Takes Down OK Boomer. It says here, Shatner was not born in the baby boomer generation. He was born in 1931. However, he was disgruntled with a woman using it as an insult and called her a diva. The person tweeted, "I'm not really into pejoratives, but what's the term for people when they can't interpret a joke?" And then William Shatner says, "Millennial?" ? So this article is about someone who takes down the phrase OK Boomer because it's offensive. But then William Shatner shats on millennials by saying millennials can't take a joke. Then it shows a tweet. "I feel like it's one of those childish insults in fandom that seem to affect the delicate types to the point they melt down and go over the rest of our heads as something ridiculous. If the person posting it thinks they are making a dig, they are the fools." You really think something that originated on TikTok, something that is two words, is trying to make a dig? I don't think anyone who says OK Boomer is trying to make a dig or thinks that their statement is like so hurtful. Like, I don't think anybody is actually using it to deeply hurt someone. It's just a joke. That's what it is. It's a joke. And I don't think anybody who's actually using it is thinking that like, oh yeah, I got the last word and I showed that person. Oh boy, I can't wait till they get to go and cry themselves to sleep tonight. I just really don't think that's the case. The person replies to him, "OK Boomer. Sweetheart, that's a compliment for me." It's obviously not a compliment. That is the most passive-aggressive response you could supply to someone. It's like when someone says something really self-depreciating, and then they say LMAO after it. You know they're not actually saying LMAO. So you say, "Sweetheart, that's a compliment for me," and add the winking emoji. No one's taking you seriously. No one thinks that you're actually not affected by this, considering you made other tweets about how you are deeply upset with OK Boomer, and then you're called OK Boomer, and you're like, "Oh yeah, that's a compliment because I'm actually older than a boomer." Okay, Shatner. Okay, kids, this boomer has had enough. Those who use OK Boomer reveal more about themselves than those they use it against. As a baby boomer myself, I have mixed feelings about the latest linguistic weapon of generational warfare being deployed against us. Linguistic weapon of generational warfare being deployed against us. This just sent me into the void. calling it a weapon of generational warfare. What about the fact that, like, boomers have been calling Generation Z lazy, pathetic, sensitive, but that's not generational warfare. Us saying, okay, boomer, now that is a top-level Avengers threat. The CIA must investigate people who say okay boomer because they probably have terrorist ties. That is how bad. This phrase is literally breaking into our homes and stealing our children. I realize that whether I'm okay isn't really the question. Still, I would characterize my reaction as irritated, put off, and maybe a bit flattered. Obviously, the word flattered is added in there, so you seem a little less offended. You feel so flattered that you've written an article about how this phrase is bad, and it's called, "Okay, kids, this boomer has had enough." On the positive side, my generation is being treated as a force of nature, a generation so strong and influential that it must be addressed by name. In so many debates today, being insulted is seen as a mark of importance. For what it is worth, I don't go around talking about millennials or Generation X or Generation Z very much. This column accepted, I suppose. Furthermore, as an economist, I see the word boom as having a general positive connotation. On the negative side, I worry that those who deploy OK Boomer are putting themselves down and signaling their own impotence. Let's take a look at the writing and wording here. On the negative side, I worry that those who deploy OK Boomer are putting themselves down and signaling their own impotence, a definition of impotence, inability to take effective action, helplessness. Or there's the other definition that is very inappropriate. But anyway, rolling with that definition, it's very rude to say that because we say okay boomer, we are weak and helpless and ineffective. But the wording here is just obviously so wrong, so deceitful, because they say, I worry that those who deploy this are signaling that they're weak. Why would you worry when your article title is, okay kids, this boomer has had enough? Clearly you're fed up with the phrase. Don't start phrasing it in the guise of, ooh, I worry that these people are weak and helpless. No, you're insecure. OK Boomer has made you insecure somehow. The closest earlier analog to OK Boomer is probably OK Chief, a slightly sardonic response to a bossy or persistent request. So the phrase OK Boomer is itself an implicit and indeed somewhat passive admission as to who is really in charge. OK Boomer is actually closest to saying, okay, your opinion means nothing to me. Your words are as significant to me as some dirty needle in a sketchy Arby's washroom. It's not some sort of passive admission as to who is really in charge. It's actually the fact people who use the phrase don't care about what you have to say and don't observe you to be superior, like you are suggesting yourself to be. Members of Gen Z are subtly demonstrating that the cliches about them may have a grain of truth. And you are not so subtly demonstrating that you are crapping on generations. And earlier in your article, you actually said, in so many debates today, being insulted is seen as a mark of importance. If there's any native medium for the OK Boomer meme, in fact, it is short TikTok videos, one of the more evanescent forms of social media. That the site seems plagued by Chinese censorship is just another state of affairs that boomers find more offensive than does Generation Z. I would like to know what TikTok being plagued by Chinese censorship has to do with this article. I feel like at this point, this is just bad journalism. My biggest worry about OK Boomer is the generational stereotyping it embodies. It wouldn't be acceptable to baldly criticize other people simply for being old, so why is it okay to use a circumlocution that does the same thing? It's not the same thing. We're not like OK Boomer is not a powerful thing to say, God, old people suck because they're old. I think it's more so a phrase that suggests your ideas are wrong, not your age. Considering the fact that people say this to 30-year-olds too, or like any other generation, people will say okay boomer if you have ideologies that align with the boomer stereotype. Here's another article. Bob Lonsberry compares boomer to N-word. Dictionary.com tells him to watch his language. So basically, Bob Lonsberry said, boomer is the N-word of ageism. Being hip and flip does not make bigotry okay, nor is a new derisive epithet acceptable because it is new. Lonsberry deleted the tweet, but those pesky millennials and Gen Zers don't just take pictures of their food, dogs, and duck-face selfies. God, that just shows how out of touch this person is. Duck face selfies. God, what is that, like 2014? 2015? They take pictures of everything, even tweets before they vanish. God forbid we take pictures of tweets to hold people accountable to their words. Back in my day, I could say anything was the N-word, and I could even say the N-word without anyone even noticing, and they didn't give a hoot or a holler at me. Oh. People absolutely crapped on this guy's tweet. They absolutely destroyed him. So he took the tweet down, and lots of people were joking about it, about calling him boomer without the hard R, stuff like that. Dictionary.com responded to him saying, boomer is an informal noun referring to a person born during a baby boom, especially one born in the US between 1946 and 1965. The N-word is one of the most offensive words in the English language. Okay, Bob. Alright, snowflakes, thank you for watching this video. Remember, if there's one thing you need to take away from this video, one thing that you need to remember, do not say, okay, boomer. It is hate speech. It is awful. If you say it, according to anti-nwordofAgeism.org, saying booma or boomer will cause you to receive the death penalty in 395 countries. Yes, all countries, including countries that aren't even on this earth. The countries on Mars will sentence you to death if you say boomer. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you patrons for supporting this channel, and thank you people who have drawn amazing fan art. If you guys want to stay updated on uploads and other stuff, go follow my Instagram. And if you guys want to go chill and hang in the Discord server, the link will be in the description and pinned comment below. I'll actually be in the Discord server after this video goes up, so if you guys want to stop in and say hi, I will be there. Anyway, have a good rest of your day.
Every night is like a daze, but oh, I feel embraced, yes, I know I'm running late. Let's wait just one more day. I know I'm running away from moments. What am I becoming? I guess something's